Hey guys, it's Nate with Sauce Ain't the Boss here again, and today is day number 65 of quitting drinking alcohol. Today I'm out here in the Applegate Valley of Southern Oregon, and we're hiking the Enchanted Forest Trail. Um, Never been on it before. It's kind of a neat trail. There's some spots where you're kind of in this ravine, and there's some really old growth trees on both sides, and it's a perfect day. It's like, I don't know, maybe 68, 70 degrees out here. So, but as I was out here hiking, I was thinking about how during the COVID lockdown, a lot of people that maybe didn't drink started drinking, or people that were drinkers started drinking even more. A lot of studies have been done showing that, during the beginning of the pandemic, that alcohol sales increased by 20%. And that's a pretty significant increase in sales. And I think that that's kind of an indicator of how when people aren't productive with their lives, that they tend to gravitate towards drinking. I mean, why else would have alcohol sales been up 20% during the pandemic? You know, people were locked down at home. There wasn't a whole lot to do. They didn't feel productive. A lot of people weren't able to go to their jobs, or some people lost their jobs. And so as a result, people started self-medicating with alcohol to deal with the anxiety they were feeling, the boredom, the stress, and maybe even some people were pretty fearful about the whole thing, and drinking to deal with their anxiety from the fear, you know. And around here in Southern Oregon, it was kind of crazy. We went to go to a boat ramp to get onto the Rogue River. And, this boat ramp's out in the middle of nowhere, nobody around. And they had barricades blocking the boat ramp saying closed due to COVID. I mean, how are you going to get COVID being by yourself in a boat on the Rogue River? It was just like, made no sense whatsoever. And a lot of these trails you see me hiking on in some of the videos, Cathedral Hills, which is managed by the Bureau of Land Management, they closed those. They had big signs, you cannot hike on these trails due to COVID. And which to me, people were stuck at home, not going to their jobs, and here they are. They can't even get outside and go hiking or go fishing on the river. Honestly, absolutely asinine. And so again, as a result, not everybody, but some people increase their drinking, and that's why I always talk about improving your life and making and creating a life for yourself that's productive and full, rich, and rewarding that you want to live. Because if you have that, you're not going to crave drinking alcohol to deal with the boredom or the anxiety that you might be feeling, because you're living a life that you really know you're not living up to your full potential in. And I think the whole pandemic and the increase in alcohol really speaks volumes about people in general and just human nature, of when you're kind of put into a situation where you can't do much, or you at least feel like you can't do much, and you start to kind of crawl the walls a little bit, and you turn to this drug to kind of numb it and at least make it feel more bearable, that your life is kind of ho-hum and drum, so to speak, at that point in time. And as a society, we already encourage this drug. We've encouraged it for so many different things, from socializing to celebrating. The list goes on and on of how we encourage the advertisements on TV, Hollywood, all these James Bond, shaken not stirred, and all these heroes that we have as even children, watching some of these movies and shows growing up. The main character who we think's, a badass, is sitting there drinking all the time. And so, we definitely encourage drinking in a lot of ways as a society. So, when people were sitting down in the lockdown, they almost felt like, well, there's not anything too wrong with this. And my wife follows this one person. I can't remember if it's on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, I don't know, but really liked this one lady. And she even admitted, she wouldn't drink much at all, if ever. And now she's got a drinking problem, and it all started, started drinking wine more and more during the pandemic. And now she says she has days where, she tries to not drink, and she realizes she's drinking anyway. She can't stop it or put it down because she's become addicted to the alcohol now. And a lot of studies have been done about how many more people are having liver problems now, and there's definitely been an uptick, an increase in liver disease, liver failure, cirrhosis, stuff like that, due to the increased drinking during the pandemic. And like I say, some people probably got onto it for a while and maybe cut back after they returned to, quote, normal life. But then some people picked up this bad habit now that they wouldn't have otherwise had they not been kind of put into this lockdown boredom situation, So something to think about, So imagine for a minute if, let's say your life is just one that's ho-hum and drum, and we all have the ability for the most part to improve our life into a better situation that we enjoy. Some of it requires effort, obviously, and but if you're in this life where it's kind of boring and you're not productive and doing much, it's going to be easier to self-medicate to kind of get yourself out of that funk, that you're feeling from living that life. And so it's especially important drinking, I think, to get away from that ho-hum life and really build an amazing, productive life for yourself. And there's so many different ways to do that. You can create a business, a side hustle. A lot of people in this day and age, with the advancement of where we are with the internet and social media advertising and eBay and on and on and on. There's so many different things that you can be productive with on the side to make money. If that's your jam, you enjoy being productive and making money. For some people, it might be focusing in on your health, getting into the best shape of your life, even if you're in your 50s or 60s or something like that. Doesn't mean, you have to feel old. You can do everything to make yourself feel the best you can. Kind of interesting, there's an old, I don't know if you can see it here, an old truck out here in the middle of nowhere. Thing must have broke down years ago out here, and there's not even a real road in here, and then nobody ever fixed it or did anything with it. So here it is decades later, But anyway, just something to think about today, guys. I was thinking about, like I say, the whole lockdown, and just that it created that environment where, and you might find yourself, maybe you're in that boat where you weren't much of a drinker, and now you find yourself struggling with it because of the pandemic and, the state of mind that maybe that whole ordeal puts you in, and maybe you lost your job because of it, or, it caused a lot of life changes. Some people, maybe they, got really sick with COVID, and now they're having residual health problems, or maybe you lost a loved one. There could be that's the one thing about that whole pandemic thing. For so many different reasons, there's going to be, I think, long lasting effects that we're going to realize decades later that was maybe we didn't respond the best way we could have to the whole thing. But that's a whole nother topic. I'm sure everybody's got their opinion on that. So anyway, guys, today's day 65. I've been doing these videos since I quit drinking on day 1. Go back and check out some of those earlier videos if you're needing some help quitting alcohol. And yeah, so remember, guys, sauce ain't the boss. You are. You guys have a great day.